Now, let me tell you, the reefer isn't what you think it is. Because when
Oh.
I first started in the industry, when they said we're going to the reefer conference,
Okay.
you think a little bit different than refrigerated trucking. But what I've learned, it's the TCA Refrigerated Conference.
Hello, and welcome to Carrier Code, your inside track to the strategies, stories, and leaders driving the trucking industry forward. Today's episode is sponsored by Driver's Legal Plan, CDL Ticket Defense for professional drivers, and produced by Bulldog, Trucking's podcast pros. I'm Christy Choice, here with my co-host Rocco Marari. How's it going today, Rocco?
Christy, it is going fantastic today. And
Woo!
I am excited for today's episode. I think everybody's going to get excited by the time we're done here. It's a topic that, at the end of the year, I'm not looking forward to, but come beginning of the year, I'm ready to do it again. So I'm excited to chat about this. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's just so funny. In the end of 2025, I was at my very last show of the year. And someone walked up to me and they said, "Christy, you look tired." And I was like, this feels like the last event of the year, right? And they were like, "Oh, I felt that," right? Because at the end of the year, things are coming to a close. But at the beginning of the year, like it is now, there is an excitement about getting back out there.
It's true. It's true. At the end of the year, it was the same thing. Somebody came up to me, "God, you guys look exhausted." I'm like, "Oh, we are. We've been going back to back to back." Just a little piece of information, everybody who puts together shows, play nice together for us vendors and us and the carriers out there so they don't have to go from show to show. But it does. It starts to wear on you. But then, you get that, 2-week break, maybe 3-week break, whatever it comes out to. And you're all excited getting ready to do at it again. Go see your family again. Because it's a traveling family.
Yes, indeed. Well, today we get to kind of talk a little bit about some of the events that we're looking forward to this year. And I think we'll be able to share a couple of travel tips, if it qualifies us to share some tips and tricks, we'll just throw a few of those in there. What do you think, Rocco?
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you and I have something in our repertoire that's going to help somebody down the road here. I think we're going to be able to help somebody sooner or later here.
I think so. Now, it's really important, I think, as we start the conversation to start with why. Right? We're thinking about or preparing for all of these industry events and conferences, but you have to know why you're going, right? And for every organization, for every carrier, that is going to be a little bit different, right? You have to know, what you're doing, why you're doing it, why you're going, what you expect as you're going. But sometimes you just don't know what to prepare for. So we're going to fill in those details. But tell us a little bit more about your why and what you want to tell our guests today.
Well, Christy, I think the biggest purpose of going to these events, I'd love to say is for the food and drink, but I mean, that's part of it, right? That's part of it, to get together and meet everybody and really bounce ideas off each other, but is to learn about what's going on in the industry, to become part of the industry, to have your voice heard. It's real simple to sit back and when things aren't going the right way to complain about it. But when you're at these events, you get to go in and speak your voice if you want to at all the different ones. There's round tables. There's, different meetings that are happening that you're able to join and become part of. It doesn't take getting voted on for a lot of these. It just takes a little bit of time commitment. So, my why is to go there, to give something back to the industry, but also become part of the industry. And that's really where you're going to grow and help your company grow.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of call that co-creation, right? Together, we all create the industry that we want to be in, that we want to stay in. And you're right. There's a lot of learning that happens, but let's not forget about strategy, right? Yeah. There's meetings with suppliers and meetings with, other partners and vendors and things that help move your business forward. And I think by understanding what you want to accomplish and what you're going for and making sure you send the right person or people really does help while you're charting out where you should attend any year, but especially in 2026.
No, Christy, and that is a fantastic point. Send the right people that conference aligns with. And we're going to be talking about different conferences here throughout this show today. But if you have a show that's geared towards, let's just say, finance people, it's probably not in the best interest of the company to send a technician. So, start, keep that in mind as well, because I know there's a lot that come out and everybody wants to attend as many as they can typically, but we're here to also help you have the best use of your spend. And we're going to share today where we feel that best use of spend may be for you.
Yeah, for sure. Because a lot of you out there, you are leaders within your organization. And so it's completely fine to say, you know what, hey, I'm not the one for this event, but who is, right? I need to send the right person, send the right group of people. And then also let them know what the expectations are, as you start getting those yeses, who's going to attend, when are they going to go, what are, all of the details. Yeah, let them know what the expectations are so that your organization can benefit from having a full plan and not just, a bunch of receipts to reimburse at the end of the day. All right, let's jump on in there. Which ones do you want to start with, Rocco? You want to start with ATA? Because I know there are a few ATA conferences that we both attend and look forward to every single year.
Let's do it, Christy, because we have quite a few to go through. So let's kick it off with and alphabetically, ATA starts. So let's start there.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so ATA puts on several events every single year, and I know that there are some plans strategically to kind of start combining some of those, in future years. But this year, I am looking forward to TMC. What about you?
Oh, TMC by far is one of the best events put on, and especially, Christy, because they have two different ones. So they have TMC Annual, which is where the vendors get to come and do their showcase, and it's where we're working on RPs and recommended practices, which really is the Bible of maintenance, and you really get your say. It's a wonderful event. But then in the fall is Super Tech, and that's where the technicians from around the country come in and they battle it off for 2 days, and then there's a grand champion. And let me tell you, if you're in the maintenance world, you need to go, if you go to either of them, go to the fall event, because that event is such an amazing event to witness what these technicians do on a day-to-day basis. And it shows you how, passionate they are about that skill and their profession. It's just a great event. So TMC, bar none, you have to be there.
Heck yes. And I am looking forward to the annual in Nashville. I think it's in Nashville again this year. And so really, really excited for TMC. SSHR. That's another ATA conference that I'm looking forward to, not just because it's in Oklahoma City, which is close to me this year, but that's the safety and security and HR meeting, and it's really cool. It's a little bit more chill, but there are wonderful dynamic learning sessions and panel discussions that happen that I've always found really, really insightful and helpful. So if you're in HR, if you're in safety, if you are security minded, and of course it's all transportation focused, you want to be there. You absolutely want to be there.
I agree, Christy. That is a great event that's put on. And to your point, it's geared towards those three segments of the industry. So if you have somebody in your organization, and you may have, three different. So you may have somebody who's focused on security, somebody's focused on safety and recruiting and retention. They can all attend this, and really each of them can bring something back.
Rocco.
That's a great one to look at. A great one to look at.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good strategy, the divide and conquer. So if you are so lucky to be able to send multiple folks, everybody should make a point to go to different sessions and then come back and kind of debrief on, what the different sessions had, because again, it's a lot of ground to cover, but it's very well worth it. And it's going to be a really good time this year.
And Christy, there's one that always flies under the radar that it's near and dear to my heart because I'm the IT chair, but it's the National Accountant Finance Council. So NAFC.
Yes.
So everyone, this is, if you are a controller, a CFO, anybody in the accounting world, this event is geared towards you. Not only do we typically hold it, someplace that has meaning to the accounting side. So it's going to be tied to accounting and finances, but more importantly, every aspect of that event is geared towards accounting and finance within a carrier, trucking company, even logistics, any of those. The nice thing that I'm sure a lot of our listeners do not know is you can get continuing educations for attending this event. So if you're a CFO and you need continuing eds, I don't quote me on how many. I want to say you can get up to 15, but I could be wrong. So don't hold me to that, anybody. but you can actually get your credits by attending this event. And we're very, very intentional, knowing that, everybody in finance is busy. So it's basically a 2-day event, and it's said and done and over. But it's a wonderful event to go to. We have some great speakers, and again, you're going to get continued ed just for showing up and attending the sessions.
Good deal. Good deal. Now, I've never been to NAFC, but I've only heard great things. But again, it's another one of those conferences just very focused. Now, speaking of focused, mid-year. So ATA's mid-year management session is a really, really great event. Now, the reason why I love mid-year is because there's no exhibit hall. Right? This is just really targeted at senior directors, VPs, C-suite folks, and you are there to listen and to learn, but it's way more of a strategic meeting, in my opinion, and I think that's really cool. So if you find yourself in any of those type of roles within your company, you definitely want to make it to mid-year.
And everybody listening, I do want to add, if it's your first time going, keep an eye out for Christy or I or Justin. Chances are we're going to be at these.
We will.
So come up, say hi, and we'd be more than happy to help you out. At TMC, I'm a mentor. So, part of my role at TMC is for all the newcomers to show them the ropes of what it's about. So I can guarantee you we'd be more than happy to help out each and any one of you at any of these events that we're talking about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And usually there's always like this first timers, reception or meeting. Don't be ashamed to go. Right? Because some people are like, hold on, I just want to blend in. No. That first time or first attendees, event is for you on purpose so that you can meet folks and get the most out of attending. So Rocco, that was a really excellent point there. Yeah. Really, really, really great. All right. Let's talk about ATA Super Bowl. Which one is it? MCE.
That is the Super Bowl of the industry.
It really is.
It's a great event. It's put on. Fantastic. One of the neat things there is, it's the management conference and exhibition, but you'll get people from all walks of life within that organization. So you have presidents, owners, VPs, directors, and users, and they all come together as one to really collaborate for those 4 days. Now, it's one of the events that wears you out.
It does.
It's one of those that it just wears you out because it's intense and it's long. But it's so worth attending because each year it's different. It's not like those events where you go to where, if I skip a year, we're okay because it's really not going to be a big difference. But here, if you skip a year, you're going to miss quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ones that I highly, highly recommend to go to, especially if you want to get your feet wet, because it really ties into a little bit of all the 3 or 4 that we just spoke about. So if you think of MC&E, it takes bits and pieces of all those and puts them together as one. So that's a great one. If you want to go as a leader to check everything out, that's where I recommend going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we know that there's budget restrictions left and right. And so if you had to choose which one to go to, I definitely second Rocco's recommendation. But we'll be at most of those ATA conferences that we just mentioned as well. Now, there's other organizations that have lots of wonderful, great conferences that we also attend. Let's kind of shift gears and talk a little bit about TCA. I know I really only go to the annual and the TCA safety conferences, but they put on more than just those 2 meetings every single year. Which ones do you go to, Rocco?
So, Chrissy, we attend the 2 that we just spoke about, of course, and then the reefer. Now, let me tell you, the reefer isn't what you think it is. Because when I first started in the industry, when they said we're going to the reefer conference,
okay,
you think a little bit different than refrigerated trucking. But what I've learned, it's the TCA refrigerated conference. So
okay, you got me, Rocco. I was
just
like,
saying,
where's he going with this? And I'm like, okay.
Well, listen, I first started, 15 years ago. Oh, we're going to go to the reefer conference. I'm like, oh well, this is going to be interesting. We'll see what happens here. Lo and behold, I get there. Now. Then I learn it's refrigerated. But if you are a refrigerated carrier, this is the event to go to. It is geared specifically towards refrigerated carriers. Everything within those 3 days is based to that. It's a great way to collaborate, talk to your peers. It is truly a great event. And if you're even thinking about getting into the refrigerated market, this is an event to go to. It's not a massive event by any means. It's I don't know, probably 300, 400 people, maybe a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on where it's at. But that is the event to go to if you're either in the refrigerated market or looking to expand into it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I always look forward to TCA's annual conference every single year. It's going to be in Florida, I think maybe Orlando, and then their safety conference happens a couple of months later. And so I'm looking forward to those events. And I don't know if I'm going to the reefer conference just yet, but we will see. Jury's still out on that one. Oh my goodness. Now, Rocco, I just really realized that we have been talking in all kinds of shorthand and acronyms and all of the above. We are trying to make it make sense for you all. But for those of you who might have been in this industry a long time, you might be keeping up with us. But if not, we don't want to leave you behind. Email us at knowthecode@carriercodepodcast.com if you have any questions about any of the events that we've mentioned, if you want recommendations, if you just need to chat with someone about it before those budgets get finalized for 2026. We are more than happy to talk to you. Now, when we come back, we're going to share some of the worst and the best travel advice we've received, but we are also going to talk about a few other industry events. You don't want to miss it. All right, check us out on Carrier Code when we return.
Carrier Code is sponsored by Driver's Legal Plan, CDL ticket defense for professional drivers. Hey, it's Rocco from Carrier Code. Every professional driver knows how important it is to protect your CDL. A single ticket can put your livelihood at risk, and that's where Driver's Legal Plan comes in. With just a phone call, you can get specialized CDL ticket defense for just $2.98 a week. Don't let a ticket jeopardize your trucking career. Contact Driver's Legal Plan today and let them defend you like they have more than 400,000 other cases. When you need CDL ticket defense, there is only one, Driver's Legal Plan. Call 1-800-580-8789 or visit driverslegalplan.com for your free consultation. Again, that's 1-800-580-8789 or driverslegalplan.com.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Today we are talking about 2026 conferences and travel and some of the can't miss events that are coming up this year. Now, Rocco and I already talked a lot about the ATA events and TCA events, but there are so many other events that we cannot wait to get into. But first, Rocco, I have a question.
Oh, okay. What do we got?
Okay. Share with us some of the best travel advice that you've ever been given. We need to know.
Let me grab that for everybody. Your backpack is your best friend. Shout out to Toomey, by the way. Toomey, if you're listening, just remember this. It's a shout out here, guys. No, so all kidding aside, this is the best advice I've ever gotten. So I keep a spare set of headphones in there, actually two, just because you never know. Something's going to happen to one. You're going to lose one. Something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, we all cannot live without our phones or our laptops. Mm-hmm. I keep two spare battery chargers, the portable in there, and two wall plug chargers.
Whoa.
Because lo and behold, we're going to be on an airplane, and of course the plug's not going to work. Or you're going to be at the airport and it's not going to work. So I always keep a universal in case you end up over, in Europe or wherever it may be. But I keep that. I keep a standard. And then two more sets of headphones. Because when you're on a plane or you're somewhere and it's loud, that noise canceling helps out a ton. That's my best advice.
That is so cool. Now, I had a boss tell me, he said, Christy, I'm always imagined with how much you can accomplish on the road. And I'm like, my work doesn't stop just because I'm in an airport. You know what I mean? But those are some really, really, really helpful tips there.
Yeah, Christy, and one more, listeners, because this one's big. And this was actually told to me when I first started traveling now 13, 14 years ago. Try to pick a brand and stay loyal to it. So for myself, I'm a United and Marriott person. And honestly, because United's a hub and it gets where I need to go. And Marriott's tied to United. So why not take advantage of both? You get status on both, carriers and at the hotel chain. So honestly, if anything happens, they take care of it for you. So that's another really good piece of advice. If you're at a hub, whoever it may be, really look at that airline and utilize that hub and whoever that may be to get, status and taken care of.
No, that's a really, really good piece of advice. Personally, yes, I'm a Marriott girly. But I also, loyal to Delta. But again, it's like, it just really depends on where you're based out of and where you're flying to. But yes, can confirm. Now, some of the best travel advice I ever got was to wear layers. I cannot tell you how many times I don't have a jacket, or I'm like the temperature is fluctuating and I'm just stuck. Okay. And so that's one of the things that it's like, hey, it is simple, but it's going to help you. You're going to go into these conference rooms and sometimes they are frigid, but you're also going to go places where you're like, why is it so warm in here? And you want to be able to focus on the speaker, the presentation, the content. You don't want to be distracted by, okay, my temperature is going up and down. What's happening right now? So yeah, just like wear layers and be comfortable, right? Be chic, but be comfortable.
And that's honestly, that's a great idea. And I do that. I travel in joggers and in a hoodie because I know it's layered, it's comfortable. You're not restricted, and it's easy. Just to your point. So think about that when you start traveling. A lot of times you may travel in jeans and a t-shirt or shorts, but the planes get cold. Trust me, they get really cold. So don't think about where your destination is. Think about what you need to wear to get there.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess another piece of travel advice that I got is to carry my own utensils.
Love that one.
How many freaking times have I ordered some food and I'm like, been traveling all day. Oh my gosh. And they don't give me a fork. And I'm just looking at the salad like, you know what? I tried to make a great decision, but a burger, I wouldn't have had to figure it out, right? I would have just picked it up and I would have been eating this burger right now, but whatever. Anyway, I always carry some utensils that I'm able to wash, or a couple of sets of disposable utensils.
No, that's a great idea. There was at one point, I had to make a makeshift spoon out of the coffee stirrer in the room, and I had to like rip and cut the styrofoam coffee cup just so I have like a little spoon.
Oh.
So I mean, you get very, very creative when you're on the road.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things like that.
For sure. Now, we want to talk about a few other conferences and industry events that are happening this year that you don't want to miss. But we also probably want to share some of the worst advice we've received, just so you don't have to live through some of the trauma that Rocco and I have. So you'll definitely want to stick around through these conferences to hear some of the worst travel advice we've gotten. Okay, which ones do you want to talk about? Where you want to be in 2026, Rocco? Throw out a conference.
All right. Let's start with one that's geared towards the LTL world, SMC3.
Ooh.
It's typically at the end of January. It's a great event, and this is again geared to LTL. So no truckload, none of the bulk carriers. It is truly solidified to the LTL world. It's a really decent sized show. And if you're looking to get in the LTL world, or if you're in it, this is a must be at. They have two events. They have the annual, it's called Jumpstart, which is a great name, and in the wintertime, January. And then they have another one and I apologize, can't remember the name of it, but it's an SMC3 in June. And that's more like mid-year.
Okay.
So think of the mid-year for the LTL world. That's the June event.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another great event that's really geared towards a specialized industry, just like NTTC, National Tank Truck Carriers. They have two wonderful events a year, everybody. And again, that's geared towards the bulk world.
Yeah.
Liquid, dry, hazardous. If you're in that space or looking to get in that space, please attend. You have the annual conference, which is a great exhibit. And then you have Tank Truck Week. Tank Truck Week is another wonderful experience, and it's really geared more towards the maintenance and also the safety side. I mean, this year I got to walk inside of a big bulk carrier, tanker, and it was one of the neatest experiences that I've done. You don't realize how specialized that is until you're there. So those are two of them that, if you're in either of those specialized industries, you must attend.
Yes. Well, I just want to say it, if you are a carrier and you're in any specialized area, there is probably an association or a conference for you. So even if, we didn't mention it already, I mean, it's probably just a Google search away. This is not a fully exhaustive list. There are so many other really great conferences and events out there, and we're just highlighting a few today. Okay, so thanks for mentioning those. Now, I'm looking forward to being with the folks at DISA again this year. They're doing, well, they've kind of rebranded. The event used to be called Day with DISA, but now it's S3. And so, yeah, we are looking forward to being there, and I'm going to be speaking on, culture and technology and safety management. And so I'm really looking forward to joining them in Houston in January this month.
I have never attended that, but you and Justin have both spoke highly of it. So I'm going to keep that on the radar. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. And they're another one that offers those continuing education credits. So if you do have certifications and accreditations, make sure you are getting those CEUs, folks, because, you can kill a couple birds with one stone there by attending for sure.
Christy, what about Manifest?
Oh, my gosh. Vegas. Yeah.
So Manifest, again, everyone, this is a must attend. And what I like about Manifest is if you put forth the effort, you can connect with whomever you want at Manifest, because you basically have a digital, I don't even want meet and greet, I guess. I don't even know how to put it, but you can set up meetings through the app and even have dedicated spaces for the meeting through the app. So if you're a vendor, if you're a carrier, if you're a logistics company looking for a need, everything is there, and you just set everything up prior to the event, and you have meetings. It's a wonderful, it is put on so well. I can't speak highly enough about it.
Oh my gosh. I love that, Rocco. But okay, so here's something that I was so anti-app, right? Because every conference they started having an app, and you download the app and then you don't forget to, like remove it once it's done, but do the thing, right? Because to Rocco, to your point, when you download the app, you have ways to connect, and these conferences and events are really trying to use technology to make sure you get the maximum benefit of connecting with folks who are there. I was at a conference, and, of course, as a vendor, and the attendees had the option to set up meetings. And I mean, I was just standing at the booth, and it was like, hey, your 10:15 is here. And they just walked up, and they had already booked it. And so, but that way everyone had a very similar experience with each of the vendors that were there. Very, very, very cool. So, hey, don't sleep on it. Make sure if the conferences you're attending have apps that you download them, play with them a little bit, set aside meeting times, because you can definitely get the most for being there by doing that. For sure. For sure.
You're going to get what you put into it. And especially, I'm just saying at Manifest, if you don't put in the effort ahead of time, you're going to be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because it is a very, very, very busy event. But if you put a little bit of effort, you will come home with so much more knowledge. It's unbelievable.
Yes, fantastic. Well, Tenstreet has a conference every year. UConnect 26 is happening. This is Tenstreet's 20th year in business. And so there's lots of wonderful things that are happening. And so that one is also in Vegas, but that's coming up this year. It's going to be wild in the best of ways. So I can't wait. I attend it every single year. I speak at it every single year, and I love it. And so it is truly a user conference, though, right? It's for the end users. It's for the people who are going to be clicking the buttons and doing the things. Of course, we have owners of companies, C-suite, everyone attends, but those end users get so much bang for their buck because, again, it's a real bona fide user conference. So I can't wait for that one. That one's going to be really good. What about TIA?
TIA is another fantastic event. It's really for the brokerage world.
Okay.
But what I've learned is a lot of brokers all have their own fleet. They're asset based. So, you think it's only brokers logistics, but truly it's a lot of it. It's probably majority asset based. They have a brokerage division. So that's another great event to go to. They have 2 events a year. They have the annual, then they have the technology event. I believe that's in September or in the fall. Another great event, everybody, if you're in a specialized intermodal world, is IANA.
Yes.
You have to go hang out in Long Beach for 4 days. And that is one heck of an event for that market. And I didn't know all the ins and outs of the intermodal world until I started attending. And it's crazy. It's completely different than truckload, than LTL, than bulk. It's like its own little country.
Yeah.
And it's a very ingrained group of people, and it takes time to become accepted, which is fine. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But once you're accepted into that world, I like to call it, everybody's there to help you. It's a wonderful event.
Yes, yes. Well, I was at IANA last year or the year before, and there was so many really great conversations. And one that really stood out to me was someone walked up and they said, I've never been to a conference before. I don't know what to do. And I was like, okay, just stand here and talk to me. Tell me what you do. What's your role? And we were able to just share, that really cool experience of, hey, I really don't know what to do. And I'm like, hey, nobody really does. But all we have to do is talk. And so I'll never forget that, because it's a big show, but it's also one where people are more than happy to chat with you and kind of fill you in. Sometimes it does take a little doing. You have to show up a little bit, but by and large, we are definitely one of the friendliest industries.
Yeah.
And so it makes conference travel a whole lot easier when you're going to be met with the smiling face on the other side. I have a couple more conferences, right? Okay, rapid fire. Conversion Interactive Agency has their own conference. It is specific to recruiting and retention. So historically, it's been called R&R. I look forward to that one every single year. I could not mention that double negative just got me, y'all. Anyway, I have to mention Women in Trucking in Dallas every year. It is always a really, really, really great time. So get a jump start on planning for it. Women in Trucking do way more than just their Accelerate conference every year. So get plugged in. It's a really great community. And then, of course, the Veteran Ready Summit that happens in December. I know it's the beginning of the year. Okay, we get it. But again, start planning early so that you still can benefit from attending, and you can do some of the prep work and know what you're working toward if you are a carrier that wants to become even more veteran ready and veteran friendly in the industry. So really, really great. And then last but not least, NPTC. We got to mention.
Gosh, yeah.
Private fleets.
Sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to miss that one.
No. Rocco and I will both likely be there. And for both of their events, don't they do?
We'll be at both. Yeah, we'll be at both.
Yeah, for sure. And so looking forward to spending a lot of time in Florida, apparently, this
every other year.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so I'm looking at my list. It doesn't look like I missed anything. Okay, Rocco. Do you want to share some of the worst travel advice you've ever received? Okay,
so I have two.
Okay.
First one, when I first started traveling, I was told, luggage doesn't matter. It's probably the cheapest shit you can find. We don't care. It'll get the job. And let me tell you, everybody, the first time you're at an airport and your damn zipper breaks.
Oh.
And you have no way to zip up your bag because you have to open up for TSA. You'll learn, and you'll spend a little bit more money on some luggage. I mean, now I have had the same, set, and I got numerous sets of the same brand. I'm not going to say because they're not sponsoring me, but it's a very nice brand. Now, if you're listening, I'll tell you guys later, but it's lasted 10 years and it costs money. It has a lifetime warranty though. If anything happens, I call them up, take a photo, they replace it. The next worst piece of advice I got was to use a travel agency. That is horrible. You're spending $30 to $50 every time you use them, maybe a little less depending if you negotiate. But you have no control over anything. If your flight's delayed or something happens, you're going to have to rely on them to fix it. When you book it yourself, and again, if you're more loyal to a brand, you have a little bit more perks because you get status. But if you book it yourself, you have control at least over getting it, rectified, getting that next flight, finding another room. And let me tell everybody listening, delays are going to happen. Cancellations are going to happen. Your luggage is going to get lost. Mine gets lost about once a year. It happens. So just understand it's going to happen. Think one step ahead. So one quick thing, I know this was our worst advice, but I want to back into it with some good advice.
Yes.
If I am traveling and my plane's already delayed and I'm in the air and I know there's about a 90% chance I'm going to miss my connection, I am booking a hotel from the flight before I even land, because what happens, if you think about it, if it's weather, especially weather related, there's going to be thousands of other people trying to
Yes.
book a same hotel. So if you book it, you can always if you have any status at all, you can always cancel it. No fees. So again, just think one step ahead, be prepared, be booked, ready to go.
Yeah.
That's my worst, and then a little extra best advice.
Yay. Well, that is wonderful. Wonderful. And I'm thinking about some of the worst advice I received, right? And I think it was very well intentioned, just like yours was. It was like, hey, save a little money, go cheap. And it's like, no, over the lifetime of this luggage, I'm actually going to be spending more because, because of this route. But someone said, hey, when you go to conferences, there's going to be food. Eat whenever the food is out. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And I did it. Okay. And then I'm wondering, like, what in the world is wrong? Like, I'm having stomach issues. What's happening? Because I'm eating when I'm not used to eating. I don't typically have breakfast or, eat what's provided. And I'm like, it's almost this scarcity mindset where I'm like, oh, gosh, the food is out, so let's go eat. And I'm like, okay. Now, I know that every company has different travel processes and protocols with what they have to do and don't have to do. But I'm like, that was the worst advice for me. There is nothing worse than being away from home and having stomach issues. You know what I mean? Again, try to follow your own rhythms of when you are traveling, just to make things easier on yourself. Because again, it's to prevent you from being distracted, and being unwell. You want to be well when you're traveling because you want to make sure that you are able to learn what you need to learn, meet who you need to meet, go where you need to go, and you don't have anything holding you back. Because conference travel, it can be exhausting, but it is so rewarding when you get to be around people in the industry, learn new things, take it back to your company, and are able to revisit your processes, your policies, your procedures, the regulatory updates. In 2025, we saw so many regulatory updates, right? And they were like the topic of every conference we went to almost, And so again, some of the worst advice turned into the best advice because I was like, hey, I'm going to go with what I know. Okay. And if I'm not hungry, I'm not eating. Or if that looks weird, I'm not eating it.
Well, and one more on top of that, Christy, if you are going to eat it, get there early. Because nobody wants to eat meatballs that have been sitting out for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Just trust me on this one.
For sure. Yeah. You don't eat the meatballs. Okay. We'll probably say that again one day. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been fun. And I, just like you said earlier, Rocco, I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone out there. There's so many events. Some are really driver specific like Matt's, and then other ones are just industry Super Bowls like MC&E.
Yep.
But no matter where we will see you, we will probably see you, and we would love to meet you and talk with you and shake your hand and kind of talk about what's going on with your specific company. What are your last thoughts, Rocco, before we end it today?
Just that I'm looking forward, to getting back out, everybody getting back together, and really seeing what the year is going to bring. There's changes coming. We all know that. Let's see where we end up. 2026 didn't end terrible, or 2025 didn't end terrible. Hopefully 2026 starts well, and we keep that trend going. But yeah, that's my takeaway. Just if you're gonna go to these events, go for a purpose. You can go party anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
For a lot cheaper. Trust me. Trust me on this. If you're gonna go with a purpose and have a good time and see what you can take away from there.
Yeah. Agreed. Represent yourself and your companies well, and the rest will take care of itself. All right. I love it. Well, I am looking forward to 2026 travel and everything that, all the optimism that a new year brings us in the industry. And so I cannot wait to see how things start to unravel and fold as we get into these industry events. Carrier Code is sponsored by Drivers Legal Plan, CDL Ticket Defense for professional drivers, and produced by Bulldog, Trucking's podcast pros. New episodes drop every week, so be sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss an episode. You can listen on your favorite podcast platform, watch on YouTube, or visit us anytime at carriercodepodcast.com. You'll also find us on all the social channels at Carrier Code Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, I'm Christy.
And I'm Rocco.
And this is Carrier Code.